All right, you guys. So today's class is direct mailers. My name is Kate with Scholar Rhyme Marketing. Again, today's class is recorded to go on our YouTube if you need to check that out later, slow down a little bit, or play something again. Let's go ahead and get started. So for today's class, we want to go to command. You can access command by going to agent.kw.com. I will go ahead and drop that in the chat just in case. That is the command site. Once we're there, we're going to log in with our username and password. Keep in mind, your username is not case sensitive. However, your password is. So if you are missing a capital letter or a number, or even if you have a space before or after, in some cases when you copy and paste, it will add a space. Those will prevent you from logging in. So if you're running into issues, just hit that eyeball, check out your password, make sure it's correct, and you can sign in. All right, now that we are signed in, don't worry if your home screen looks a little bit different from mine. It is customizable to a certain extent, so everybody's can look slightly different. So don't worry if it looks a little different. The first thing that I want to take a look at before we get started on our direct mailer is we want to take a look at our marketing profile. So not to confuse the marketing profile for the My Profile. My Profile is mostly an internal profile. So the information on there does not generally feed over to your website or your app or any of the marketing pieces that you can create within Command. However, the marketing profile does. Now, unfortunately, they don't talk to each other. That would be awesome if they did. But we want to take a look at the marketing profile under Settings. And then we want to check out Connect Settings and Marketing Profile. Now, once we're here, if you're on a team, you may also have a team profile, and that will also include a team marketing profile. Depending on your permission levels, you may not be able to see that, but you want to make sure these marketing profiles are up to date. Again, this information feeds to your website, it feeds over to your app, and to a lot of the marketing pieces that are created within Command. So you do want to make sure that's toggled on. As long as it's on, you'll have a little green dot. You do want to make sure you have a photo here for your headshot. If you don't have a headshot, you can put a KW logo there until you get one. Or if you have a photo you've taken of yourself, you can certainly put that there. The recommended size is the 360 by 360. The reason for that being, if it is not a perfect square, certain pieces of marketing, it will appear distorted or stretched, or your head may be cut off. So to avoid that, we do recommend resizing it to the 360 by 360. If you're not sure how to do that or you need help, you can always email us at our support email, and we'd be happy to take a look at that and help with that. I will drop our support email in the chat real fast, just in case. The next is the team logo. Now, even if you're not on a team, you do want to have some kind of image here. The reason for that being is primarily for email campaigns, but there are other pieces of marketing that will pull that in, whether you are on a team or not. So if you don't have something there, it will appear broken, like an image is supposed to be there and it's not working. So definitely just grab a generic KW, or if you are in a team or have branded yourself as a solo agent, you can put that logo there. Next is your details. So you have your name, your license number. If you're on a team, you can include that. If you have a specific job title, if you're a buyer's agent, whatever, you can add those here. If you have a slogan or designation or credentials, you can add those. If you have any military affiliation, your bio, and you will notice certain things have a red asterisk. You will want to include those. However, some, like the license number and website, those will pull to certain marketing pieces as well. If they're not included, you'll see an error. So just fill out as much as you can. Again, bio, phone numbers, email, Website, you do want to make sure that's the entire URL. If you're putting your KW email there, make sure you don't put a www before it because it will not work with that. The KW websites actually don't need that in order to work. You will want to have your market center information plugged in, logo and that other information. If you need help finding logos, let me know in the chat. We can come back to that at the very end if we have time, and I can show you where to find those. If you have specific compliance that needs to be included, you can add that here, as well as links or images. You have your social media links and Google Analytics. Now, once you've updated your marketing profile, you'll just go ahead and hit save. So all of those changes take effect. In some cases, it can take up to 24 hours to push to your site or your app, but usually it doesn't take that long. Again, if you joined late, we're going over the marketing profile because some of this does feed over to various pieces of marketing in Command, including the designs for direct mailers. Just going to take a look at chat, make sure we don't have any questions. And I don't see any. So we will go ahead and then jump into campaigns. So if you're not sure how to access campaigns, you can click this red and white KW at the top. It will expand this menu bar. Or you can simply hover over each icon until you are familiar with them. But the little megaphone is going to be a campaign. Now this will bring you into the dashboard for all of the various campaigns that you can create. There are a few. We're going to focus on direct mailer today. So the first thing we're going to do is hit create campaign. Now again, we're going to take a look at direct mailers, so postcards being sent out. We do have classes that go over the others. If you'd like to check those out, you can check YouTube or see when our next class is coming up. Once we click direct mailer, it's going to have us put a name there. So I'm just going to put today's date, since I don't really have a specific direct mailer that I'm creating. Then you have to select the type of direct mailer you're creating. So what is your goal for that mailer? What's the purpose that you're creating it for? I'm just going to select other today because we're going to look at a couple. So I'm not going to have a set goal, but if we are doing one of these, you can certainly pick the one that corresponds with whatever you're creating. We're going to go ahead and hit create campaign. Now, once we're in the create campaign, you're going to notice we have a few different categories. They have a green check mark if they're good and everything is there. However, we're going to go through each of them. So the first one is the overview. Again, that's the name and the goal. So if you selected one and you want to change it, you can certainly do that and hit save. Next is our content. So we're primarily going to focus today on a default template, meaning that Command is basically putting it together for us. Now, we're not going to use a custom template because then we would need to resize it. So, for example, with this one specifically, if you're creating a design within Command under the Designs applet and you're trying to pull it in to the direct mailer, it's most likely going to tell you that the size is wrong. Now, the reason for that is because they're two different design platforms. So the size is going to be a little bit different from designs and campaigns or designs over to campaigns. So you may need to resize that first. It does provide you with the correct sizes if you need to do that. If you run into any issues at any point, you can always email us. We're happy to take a look. But again, for today, we're going to take a look at the defaults. So when we stay on default, you'll notice we have a preview over here to the right. It's going to show us the front and the back, depending on which one we're taking a look at. And then under template, you're going to notice that there are a few different options. So there's the compact template, which is a 4x6, and it's showing you a preview here. There's the default template, which it's not really showing anything on the front there. And then there's the back. That's a 6x9. There's a 6x11. There's the front and the back. And we'll take a look at these again once we start to add some stuff to it. Then there's the large. That is another 6x11. It's contemporary. And that's going to show you the front and the back again. So you have to decide which one you want to do. I'm going to stick on the first one for now, and then we'll take a look at them as we add additional information. So I'm going to skip over text and subtitle and description for now, and we're going to go ahead and find an image. So for this, generally, you would want to pull in one for from your computer. So you can use a listing and pull that in directly. And actually, if I switch this, it will then give me the option. So we'll go ahead and do listing. It's going to then give me the option to select a listing. Now, if we just search one, you do want to change this to say all listings unless you have yours that you're advertising. I'm just going to pick one for today's class. Hopefully this one has photos. If not, oops. 2, 3. All right, we'll just grab one of these. We'll select this one since it has photos. So it's going to allow me to pull in that listing. And once I've done that, it is going to allow me to pull in all of those details. So I could edit those and change them myself, or I can simply pull in the information from the listing. Now, once I get to photo, I can then select listing images. Now, you'll notice when I'm doing this that some of them are saying low resolution. The reason for this being is it's going from the MLS to KWLS and from KWLS into the editor. So when they're going from all of those places, they're losing some of the quality of the image. So obviously, if this is your listing and you have the photos, it would be best for you to upload the photo. However, this is not my listing. I'm not actually going to send this out. I'm just going to pull in the low resolution. But it is going to let you know various times throughout the process that it is a low resolution image and that they're not responsible if it doesn't turn out the way that you want it. So just keep that in mind when you're creating these. But then you'll be able to see once you pull that in, the image over here. We can also turn to the back where it pulls in the additional information down here. And this is where we can kind of take a look at the various templates to make sure we like the one that we have. So as you can see, it changes it a little bit. The backs don't change quite as much. But then it's just kind of you picking the size and the style that you like the best. So totally up to you on that one. I'm going to go with the default. I just kind of like it. Actually, I'm going to go back because it kind of blurs out the house. And I don't really like that. But then again, it's going to pull all of the listing information. So you don't have to plug all that in. We do recommend verifying it is correct. You can then pick the listing status. So if it's just listed, sold, or coming soon, go ahead and say just listed, throws that in there. Again, any of this can be edited. So if you don't want the full description, you can change it however you'd like. But that does populate on the back side here. Moving right along, we then get to our agent information. So this is, again, where all of this is pulling from your marketing profile. That was the reason that we took a look at that to make sure it was up to date. But once you're in here, you can adjust it. You can replace the image. So not a huge deal, but it does just make things a little bit easier. As long as everything is here and looks good, you do want to click on this phone section and you do want to just hit space. The phone number does need to be fixed. Otherwise, it won't let you check mark this section. So just hit a space to fix that number. Unfortunately, it doesn't populate that way in the profile. Once everything is here and we like how it looks, we go ahead and hit save. And obviously, I missed that this was obviously too long. So I'm just going to cut out some of this. And then we are within our, we are in the clear there. So again, letting me know it is a low resolution image. Real Mailers is not responsible for low quality postcards. So if you do choose to proceed, that is on you. But now we have the little green check mark for our content. Next up, we go to Market Center information. It should be pulling this information again from the marketing profile. However, you will notice that this information down here does not pull the state or the zip code. The reason for that is because in the marketing profile, it's all on one line. So you do need to come here and type this. Actually, can I undo that? There we go. And then verify the address. It's going to allow me to make sure that's correct and confirm. Now we're greenlit there. Then we go on to targeting. Now I know it's already green, but you can adjust that if you want to. You do not have to. It's going to target the specific property address and the surrounding area. So generally you want to target that, but if not, you can always adjust it. Or you do have the option to target your database, and we can come back and take a look at that on another postcard, as long as we have time. But once this is set, we can go ahead and hit save, and then we go into the budget. So this is where you get to determine how many postcards you want to send, and you have the single amount over here. It's going to give you the estimate for the full amount that you're looking for. If you like that and you're good with it, you go ahead and hit save. Now, again, over here on the right, there's one other thing that we didn't take a look at, and that's this QR code. So you can add a QR code to your postcard. Once it's scanned by the recipients, it's going to take them to whatever website where you can capture their information from this direct mailer. So if you want to turn that on, you can. It's just a little check or a little sidebar here. Now, you won't see it on the front. It actually goes on the back of the card. And it may depend which template you use. But before we take a look at those, if it looks different, you do have to decide where you want that QR to take them. So you have to select the page. This could be just your website in general. You could set up a landing page that you wanted to go to. That is up to you. Once we do that, it's going to generate that QR code. And I do think it shows up on all of them. It just might be a little bit different on each of them. Yeah, so pretty similar on all of them. It's always on the back for them to go ahead and scan. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to really add any other text or anything like that. But a lot of times people scan those out of curiosity. So a good way to potentially grab their information and capture that lead. Just going to take a look at the chat, make sure we don't have any questions. I don't see any. Once we're good here, though, we can go ahead and configure targeting, or if you need to save it and come back, but we're going to go ahead and move into configure. Again, prompting me, hey, the resolution is low. They really want to make sure that you're okay with that. So you will see it a few times. Then it asks, are you sure you want to create this campaign? I say yes, and then it's going to move us over into the next section that we need to set up. Okay, so now we get to kind of really pinpoint who we want to target for this postcard. So depending on our goal, depending on the house that we're either selling or was sold, we can really get very specific with who we want this postcard to be mailed to. Again, you can take a look at the address. You can zoom out. You can draw an area and it can change. Totally up to you. Again, it's going to give you number of homes. That is going to change the cost. So keep that in mind when you do that. It is going up in price. So I'm going to go back down. Oops, and zoom back in. Now, all of these little blue dots are the various addresses that is going to go to at the moment. You can hover over them and take a look. It's going to give you the information, so the address, and some other information on the property. Now you can remove that specific one if you feel like once you've set your goals that's not one that you want. You can also hover back over it and restore it if you did it in error. But once we've set our number of homes, you can select the property type. So if we want to just focus on multifamily units and who that's going to be sent to, we can certainly do that. I'm going to reset that. And see if it will pull any more. It's going to take a minute to load. Hopefully I didn't just break it. There we go. But anyways, as you can see, it's then showing like 28 units, 17 units, So it's going to give you the full breakdown of those and how many is going to be mailed to that specific dot, because if we're looking at those multifamilies, there is going to be multiple units. Now, single family won't have that, but again, you can target all and see that the same way. So I'm going to leave it as all. You can also target based on bedrooms, square footage, the year the homes were built, the last time it was sold, the last sold for price. So you can select all of that and get very specific with the homes that you're looking for, and it will just adjust as we're doing that. So as you can see, if we zoom out, it's getting a little bit wider each time I change that. Once our targets are set the way that you would like them, so that those postcards will go to the people that you would like them to go to, we can go ahead and hit next. You can also send a copy to your address. It goes to the office. That way you can see what it looks like. It does cost you to send one to yourself. You'll see that that goes up. We do get this question a lot, so I just like to mention it. Some people ask if there's a way to export these addresses or to add them to your command. There is no way to do that. Keep in mind when you're sending these, there is no contact associated with them. They're just an address. So when you send that out, it's going to say current resident. It's not going to have a contact's name or any of their personal information attached to that. So there's no way to export those or to add them to your database. However, that's kind of where that QR code comes into place. If they were to scan that, it would then add them to your database. So now once we've done that, we're good to go. We can again hit that next button. This is where it will then give you another preview of your postcard before it's finalized and sent. We can do view a larger preview and view it like this. And see what that looks like when it's actually sent. Now, if I go back, I can then adjust my payment information here. I do like to point out the processing. So same day processing, if you submit your order before 3 p.m. on a business day, your mailers are going to go in production that same day in a fulfillment center nearest to your targeted area. UPS distribution, your cards will be inserted into USPS mail stream within 2 business days. And then the estimated delivery, your mailers are estimated to arrive in the mailbox 4 to 6 business days. So keep that in mind when you are setting these up. If you have a specific day that you're trying to get them sent out by, and that would more come into play with, like a coming soon, or if you're doing a custom postcard that's for a holiday or something that you wanted to mail out to your database or something like that, you want to keep that in mind. Now, you can also schedule a launch for a later date. So if you want these to start at a different time, you can certainly do that. Keep in mind that launch date is going to be when it starts processing, not when it's mailed out. So make sure you're still accounting for those extra days to make sure it gets to the mailboxes when you'd like. From there, we can again enter our payment information. And once we're done, I feel like it's not showing me a full screen here. But once we're done with that, it will allow me to make payment and proceed. Are there any questions on this? I know we're at our halfway point for our class, and this is the primary part of our content, but I do want to take you guys through like a custom upload just so you guys can see it. But just want to make sure there's no questions. So this is primarily used for bulk. So you can do your entire database, or I do believe you have the option to like use tags. So we can take a look at that. But are there any other questions on the listing direct mailer based on a property address? You can then come back into it and edit it if you left it before you were done. I'm going to hit save so I can show you guys again what the outside dashboard looks like. It'll take a second. So out here, You're going to see the overview. This is the direct mailer dashboard. So from the campaign section, we're just under the direct mailer. It's going to say how many were sent this month, how many recipients, leads, and money spent. You can search for specific ones, check mailed, draft, or archived, or it can view all of them. If you are looking for a specific goal that you created, you can check those out. But it's then going to give you the name, the preview of the draft, the status of it, created date, sent, leads, recipients, advertising, that's the goal. You can then edit, duplicate, or archive that. So that's the best way. I haven't mailed one. Mine are all pretty much for tests, but you can take a look at those and, like I said, recreate them, things like that. I'm going to hit create. We're just going to bring this up. Is there any, there is no, I don't believe the price changes based on the amount that you're sending. I think they're pretty consistent with the pricing on that. But you're not paying additional postage or anything like that. That is the cost right there when you're doing that. So I'm going to do another one for you guys. And I'm just going to do brand awareness. I'm going to create. So again, this is if you want to upload a custom template. You can pull it in from, I don't have any. Let's go into, I wonder if this one will download. So even when it was created as a default, you saw that it still errored out for me. It's because it's changing programs and it's messing with the size of it. So that's the reason anytime you're pulling in a custom template, you're most likely going to have to resize it. It's kind of an inconvenience, but it's really not that big of a deal. Let's go into designs so I can show you guys how to. I generally resize it in Canva. There is another platform we recommend, and I can show you guys that one as well. I don't think I have one handy. We'll do print. If you guys have any questions, though, feel free to drop those in the chat. Let's see. Just sold. I'm going to look at a postcard. Use. I'm going to use the workspace. And we're going to take a look. I'm just going to grab a home so that we have one. I'm just going to grab this one. Wasn't getting that very good. Oh, that's a little better. Let's go with different. I'm just looking for one thing real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Oops. Here we go. Alrighty, so real quick, I'm just gonna make sure this is good. It's got information, my assets. Let's pull Scott in. All right, so if we wanted to pull in this design into the custom one and send it out, we liked this one better. I'm gonna go ahead and do download. And I'm gonna leave it in the PDF format since it is for print. And this is the easiest way to resize it, is to go to imageresizer.com, and I'll drop that in the chat for you guys as well. This is going to allow you to upload that image or drag and drop it into here and resize it to the size that you would like. Maybe that didn't download just yet. There it goes. I'm too quick. It's not keeping up. Actually, I may only want that as a JPEG. So let's switch this. Sorry about that, guys. I'm the wrong things over here. All right, so I'm just grabbing that folder on my other screen. It has multiples in a folder, so I'm just extracting it so I can grab each one of them. And now we're going to select our image from that folder. And then it's going to allow me to easily resize that. So then we want to just make sure we know what size we're going to do. I'm just going to do the 4x6. And you want to make sure you're doing the pixels or the other one. It does give you both. So I'm just going to grab these so I don't forget the sizes. 1275 by, oh, and you do want to do the unlock. Otherwise, it's going to make it the size that it wants to. And the width is actually 1875, 1275. And then we're going to resize. Now, once I've resized that and downloaded it, I should be able to then pull it in. Now, again, with everything, some things don't work when you want them to, but it should work. There we go. So now you'll see that I have that there. Hopefully I did the right sizes. Since it does look a little bit weird, I'm gonna go back. We'll do the bottom width and height. Oh, I did maybe do it backwards. No, I think I did it right. Sorry, guys, my brain today is just partially working. Do that again. And I did the front again. I should have done the back. We will do the back this time. So let's go back again, select our image. This time I'm gonna grab the back one from that folder. Sorry, I got too much stuff. I needed to clean it up. So now we'll grab that back and again, unlock that. We're in pixels. And resize. Download. So pretty easy to resize. You can also use Canva. I do that sometimes. It just depends what I'm doing. But now we have our back as well. And now when we're over here, we can check out both. So again, a little longer process, but it's going to be pretty much the same from here. You'll then put in your market center information, your targeting, budget, etc. And I know someone asked about if the price changes. It does not. Like I said, I hadn't seen that it had changed. It's just 74 cents, no matter how many you send. But that is resizing it and adding it. Are there any other questions? I know we have about 40 minutes left, but that is the primary content I wanted to cover with you guys. So If you have questions, now would be a great time. If not, and you want some of your day back, feel free to jump off. That is going through the direct mailers pretty much in full. They're pretty simple, so not a lot of room for error there, unless you're resizing and running into issues. We do not have a Canva class. We do have some tip videos because we do offer some templates through Canva. However, we don't have a class geared around it. But you could check out those tip videos on editing. We have one on like editing email signatures through our templates. So, any other questions, you guys? Sorry we got through all that really quick, but hopefully you get some of your day back. Of course. I'm going to go ahead and stop record. Feel free, again, any questions at all, whether they're 100% relevant to what we just went over, or if you have something else that you're curious about, feel free to drop it in the chat. We can chat about it.